Today on Public Eye News, Escanaba schools continue to look at ways to improve on-campus safety while a fifth package explosion happens in Texas.
Caleb Rodell gives us a look at weather on our first day of spring, and Ryan Gooch tells us about the Pistons' win against Sacramento. Hi, I'm Mason Walls.
I'm Max Stevens, and this is Public Eye News. NMU's EcoReps, a student organization focused on environmental sustainability, is hosting Sustainability Week to help promote campus change. The week is a way for the group to promote social and economic sustainability in addition to environmental. All this week, NMU is participating in the Turn Down the Lights campaign, where all the academic buildings will turn hallway lights to nighttime settings and record energy-saving data. Each day this week, the group hosts daily events as well, including a showing of the film The True Cost tomorrow and Fix It Friday, where people can get clothing fixes at Jamrich Hall. And Steve Mariucci and his family have doubled their pledge to Beacon House to $300,000. In recognition, Beacon House Board of Directors voted unanimously to name the new building the Steve Mariucci Family Beacon House. $3 million needs to be pledged prior to breaking ground on the new house, and the organization has set a goal of December 31st of this year to achieve that goal. With the major contribution from the Mariucci family, the campaign total is just shy of about $800,000 in total pledges. Information about the Beacon House and the Legacy of Love campaign can be found online at upbeaconhouse.org.
The Escanaba area schools are planning to increase security after a shooting threat last week. The school has started locking all the doors to screen those entering the building and will be getting security upgrades. The school officials also met today and discussed a buzzer system for the doors. The individual thought to have made the threat is currently being lodged in Bay Pines Juvenile Detention Center in Escanaba. And 2 Marquette men arrested after a meth bust were arraigned in Marquette County District Court. 37-year-old Robert James Nancaro and 26-year-old Brody John Smith were arrested Friday, March 16th. Both are facing 1 count of controlled substance, operating a meth lab, and each have a $100,000 bond. Upset detectives executed a search warrant and seized a large amount of meth components, finished meth product, and 2 firearms. Police had to redirect traffic for 5 hours while the hazardous materials were being removed.
The United States Coast Guard has announced that the Coast Guard cutter Mobile Bay will fracture ice near the Escanaba ore dock this Thursday, March 22nd. At the request of commercial shippers in the area, the Coast Guard will establish a track in the ice from Escanaba Light North to the Escanaba ore dock. Ice fishermen are advised to remove shacks and equipment from the area, and snowmobilers, ATV operators, and other recreational users of the ice should avoid the shipping channels, plan activities carefully, and, as always, exercise caution near the ice. And the Michigan Department of Natural Resources has announced that nearly 30 projects across 18 different counties will share $515,000 in local funding for enhancement projects along Michigan's Iron Bell Trail. Funded projects were eligible to receive up to $30,000 for trail enhancement, including feasibility studies, preliminary construction, new trail segment engineering, and environmental impact studies, among other uses. The Iron Bell Trail is the longest state-designated trail in the nation, encompassing over 2,000 miles of hiking and biking routes, connecting big cities to smaller and diverse towns. This is the 4th consecutive year that the DNR has issued grants specifically for Iron Bell Trail, with many of the previous year's projects being completed or nearing completion. And stay with us, because after the break, we'll have your national and international news.
He's become this iconic figure.
Everybody knows Al Capone. Everybody wants to hear about Al Capone.
He personifies the gangster in American life.
The immigrant story, it's a self-made man.
The gangster can't win. He's gotta die.
The legend, in a sense, outran the man.
Tonight at 8 after PBS NewsHour.
Welcome back. Authorities report the serial bomber in Texas is probably determined to produce more. A bomb that went off on Tuesday at a shipping facility is now the 5th in a month around Austin. Police also discovered another package in the same location that contained a parcel bomb that had not yet detonated. So far, 2 people have been killed and 5 others injured as hundreds of officers are working on the case. The package that exploded this morning was addressed to a Texas Attorney General, Ken Paxton. Police originally believed the attacks to be hate crime inspired, but due to the arrays of attacks, they are continuing to investigate. And there has been another shooting at a school, this time at a high school in Great Mills, Maryland. Police say the shooter is dead and 2 other students are injured. Mola Lengi has the latest on the developing story from Great Mills, Maryland.
Police locked down the campus of Great Mills High School Tuesday morning after shots were fired.
A male student produced a handgun and fired around, wounding a female student and another male student in a hallway of Great Mills High School just before classes begun.
The school safety resource officer confronted the shooter.
He pursued the shooter, engaged the shooter, during which that engagement he fired a round at the shooter. Simultaneously, the shooter fired a round as well. I am told that at 10:41 a.m. this morning, the shooter was confirmed deceased.
Aaliyah Lamix arrived at school to see the chaos unfolding.
And that's when you see cops and ambulances coming in and cops running towards the doors and just screaming, saying, everyone get down.
School officials here say students were evacuated to a nearby high school to be reunited with parents. Robin London is waiting to pick up her son.
I got a call from my 15-year-old son that goes to Great Mills High School, and he said, "Mom, come and get me, somebody just got shot." And my heart dropped.
ATF and FBI agents are here helping with the investigation. Mola Lengi, CBS News, Great Mills, Maryland.
Almost 24 Russian diplomats expelled by Britain over the poisoning of an ex-spy headed home today. A former Russian double agent and his daughter are in critical condition in Salisbury, New England, after being poisoned on March 4th. Britain said they were poisoned with a class of nerve agent known as Novichok and has blamed Russia for the attack. In response to their expulsion of their diplomats by British Prime Minister Theresa May, Russia has expelled the same number of diplomats who are expected to leave in the coming days. President Trump has added a new member to his legal team. Joe DiGenova has a lot of experience with D.C.-based legal cases, but he also believes in controversial theories about the special counsel investigation into Russian interference in the presidential election. Angelica Alvarez has more details from the White House.
President Trump has added former U.S. Attorney Joe DiGenova to his legal team. DiGenova is a frequent guest on Fox News and has endorsed claims that a secretive group of FBI agents concocted the Russia investigation as a way to keep Mr. Trump from becoming president.
I believe that several high FBI officials will be charged criminally, and it is conceivable that some DOJ people will also be charged criminally.
Your new lawyer, Mr. President!
The move signals the president may be preparing for an intense legal fight against special counsel Robert Mueller, who is investigating possible Russian collusion in the 2016 U.S. presidential election.
The McCabe firing, the tweets, all of the surrounding controversy are part of a concerted and coordinated campaign to discredit, stymie, and stop the special counsel investigation.
President Trump spent the weekend attacking Mueller on Twitter, saying the probe never should have been started, and says his team of investigators are politically motivated. The tweet sparked fears on Capitol Hill that President Trump may try to fire Mueller.
The special counsel should be free to follow through his investigation to its completion without interference. Absolutely.
White House lawyer Ty Cobb issued a statement denying the president has any intention of firing Mueller. Angelica Alvarez, CBS News, the White House.
You can now call him Sir Ringo Starr or Sir Richard, which is a fitting title for the former Beatles drummer. After waiting decades, 77-year-old Ringo Starr has received his long-awaited knighthood from Prince William on Tuesday. The event came 50 years after the Beatles first went to Buckingham Palace. The other surviving Beatle, Paul McCartney, was knighted back in 1997. And stay tuned. After the break, we'll have your weather and sports.
On World War II megaweapons, the Americans land on the island of Okinawa.
Everyone's thinking this is going to be a cakewalk.
But the Japanese have built a 60-mile network of tunnels.
It's death trap, death trap, death trap.
They're hoping the island's going to win the battle for them.
The deadly strategy of the tunnels of Okinawa.
An incredibly brutal way of fighting a war.
On World War II megaweapons.
Wednesday at 10 after Nova on Public TV 13. Welcome back. I'm Caleb Rydell, going to be taking you through your weather for today. The pesky Punxsutawney Phil gave us 6 more weeks of winter, and that ends today as it is the first day of spring. Taking a look across the NMU campus, cloudy out there. Taking a look at the current conditions, we are looking at partly cloudy with a temperature of 23 degrees, winds out of the northeast at 11 miles per hour, and a barometric pressure of 30.19 inches and falling. Tonight we're looking at cloudy with a low of 16, winds out of the northeast at 10 miles per hour. And tomorrow we're looking at some more clouds with a high of 29 and winds out of the northeast at 8 miles per hour. Looking across the UP, we are going to see some sun in the southern parts of the UP, starting up in Sault Ste. Marie with 26, Manistee with 26, Escanaba with 27, and down in Menominee another 26. Taking a look at the western half of the UP, we're going to start with Iron Mountain with 28, Ironwood with 30, and up in Keweenaw and Houghton with 26, and back here in Marquette, partly cloudy with 23. Let's take a look ahead at your week. On Thursday, we are looking at 34 degrees with a low of 19 and sunny. Friday, high of 31, low of 18 and partly sunny. And Saturday, a high of 30 with a low of 18 and partly sunny. Well, Ryan, we are looking at some good weather here, and I hear we're winning with the weather, and I hear we were winning with the Pistons as well.
Yeah, it looks like the Pistons might finally be finding their rhythm. After not winning a single game on the road since January, the Pistons are finally winning away again. After a victory over the Sacramento Kings, and Blake Griffin is finally finding his form from his time at the Clippers. Griffin was on fire yesterday, having 26 points, 9 rebounds, and 7 assists. Detroit pulled away in the third quarter and ended up beating the Kings 103-90. Ish Smith had 18 points, Reggie Bullock added 17, and Anthony Tolliver scored 12 points. This was only the Pistons' 10th away win this season, and the first since mid-January. And the Detroit Tigers pitching prospect, Franklin Perez, is expected to miss at least 3 months with a right lat strain. The Tigers have said Perez was injured in a minor league game on Sunday. There is no surgery that can be done to fix it, and recovery for the injury will take a minimum of 12 weeks. Perez, the 20-year-old right-handed pitcher, was acquired by the Tigers in the trade that sent Justin Verlander to Houston last season. The Tigers are rebuilding and unexpected to contend this year, but Perez is figured to be the prospect to watch this season. And the Greek Super League has been suspended by the Greek government after PAOK Salonika president Ivan Savvidis took to the field during their game against league leaders AEK Athens with a gun in a holster on his hip. PAOK had a chance to move only 2 points within the top. However, a late goal was ruled out for being offsides. This made the already frustrated fans furious, and the Supers took to the field to express their anger with their team. And the officials, the team's president joined the fans and confronted the officials. After security noticed the gun, they calmed him down and removed him from the pitch. The government took action immediately, suspending all Greek Soccer League games until further notice. Since the incident, FIFA has also said that the Greek national team may not be allowed to partake in the World Cup unless the Greek Football Confederation gets everything in order. Now, Mason, that's a pretty interesting story coming out of the soccer world, and I hear you have a story about a pretty interesting item that was found.
Yes, the item's pretty out of this world, Ryan. A pillowcase was recently discovered to be owned by former astronaut John Glenn, was purchased for $2,500 at an estate sale. On the pillowcase, Glenn had depicted revolving planets, stars, and a great view of outer space. Glenn was known for being the first American to orbit the Earth. And motorists had to hold their horses as multiple horses went down a highway in Georgia. 10 horses took to the streets and blocked all traffic on Highway 78 by North DeKalb Mall. Police were on the scene at 9 a.m. and the highway was reopened by 9:30. And that's all the time we have today on Public Eye News, but join us again tomorrow. Thanks for watching.
The preceding program was produced in studios located in the Edgar L. Hardin Learning Resources Center by WNMU-TV, Northern Michigan University Public Television.